The NCAA announces rule changes starting in the 2022 college football season. Is the NCAA creating more headaches for themselves by altering one of these rules? And is Jay Wright going to start a trend of college basketball coaches retiring early? All that and more right here on Locked on Buckeyes.
You are Locked on Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked on Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is a Friday, April 22nd in the year 2022, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. At the end of every college football season, college basketball season, or really any sport that the NCAA governs, they go over some rules and try to make the necessary adjustments to make the game better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but ultimately their goal is to make improvements every single year to make the games we love more enjoyable so that we are drawn to them more than we already are. The NCAA announced numerous rule changes. I think you'll like some might leave you scratching your head. The NCAA announced that any targeting call happening in the second half of games can be appealed after the game. And after the game is over, once that appeal process goes through, if that targeting call that happened during the game is ruled wrong after the game, that player that was called for targeting does not have to miss the first half of the next game. Take a while, let that sink in. The next one is fake injuries. The NCAA, like many people, are concerned, probably a little annoyed with the amount of fake injuries that are going forward. Conferences and schools are now allowed to submit a formal report to the National Coordinator of Officials, who will provide feedback to the conference. From there, the conference or school would then levy an additional punishment. That's it. So basically, as they know, they would love to change the rule about the fake injuries, but they also know, in the spirit of player safety, if you do something like that, that might come back to bite you. The Kenny Pickett rule, we all probably saw it. Kenny Pickett, he ended up doing the fake slide, which I thought was a phenomenal move at the time. Didn't even think in my head as a defender, when the player gives up his body to slide, you're automatically thinking, well, I'm not going anywhere. I have to stop. I have to pull up. It's a penalty on me. But Kenny Pickett had the fake slide. He kept running. You can no longer do that. I think that rule could have been changed in that game because we all knew that was going to happen eventually. Blocking below the waist is another one. Going forward, blocking opposing players below the waist will be allowed by linemen and stationary running backs inside the tackle box, but applying any below the waist blocks outside the tackle box is prohibited. So tackle box in any game, there's a box from tackle to tackle. That is where this can happen, blocking below the waist. If it's not inside the tackle box, that is not allowed anymore. Then last but not least, defensive holding. Holding remains a 10-yard penalty, but now it will always come with an automatic first down. So we have some fake injuries. We have the Kenny Pickett rule, no more fake sliding. We have targeting. We have the defensive holding. Defensive holding has always been weird to me because it seems like that has been something that they call in times when they don't need to call it. It's just, the defender held him. But what's a defender's job? A lot of times, if you're inside the trenches, you're supposed to hold. You're supposed to do those things because it's football. The defender does not want the offensive lineman or the running back to get a block on. Does not want the running back to get a free release out from the line of scrimmage. So holding, I get that, but adding an automatic first down to that is just trying to tell the defense, keep your hands off. Which once again goes to showing that the rules are aiding the offense. Sometimes you can commit a penalty and you're committing a penalty, and ultimately you're fine with it because it's just a 5-yard penalty or it's just a 10-yard penalty. But now you say 10 yards plus automatic first down, that changes things. But I actually like some of these rules here from the NCAA. Had a feeling that the targeting was going to be tweaked just a tad. Wasn't sure how. The fake injuries, those things need to stop. It's really annoying when you're watching a football game and all of a sudden you see a player just fall. I mean, literally just fall at the 40-yard line. The play is over. They've been going 8 plays straight. There's been a hurry up offense. He's tired. He's exhausted. He's gassed. His team is not substituting because they can't substitute quickly. So all of a sudden, it's like, well, let me just fall. Let me get a little breather. Let me get a fresh body in here. And yeah, it just doesn't work out that way. It doesn't work. It's not very smart. But the NCAA, as we all know, they're going to do things how they see fit. The targeting seems a little odd to me. The one thing I do like, though, is that they're making not just one, not just two, but quickly fixing things. I think if they went into next year and the Kenny Pickett's rule, as it's going to be called, the rule that is eliminating fake sliding, I think if they would have gone into next year and allowed that to still be a thing and to still be legal, I think you would have had numerous players on all levels of football, going down from D3 all the way up to the high level, the elite of the Power 5. I think you would have had coaches at every single level, athletic directors, basically saying the NCAA is not helping us at all. But the NCAA knows they got to get things right. They have to change things. They have to do things properly to make the game better, because the last thing they need is more heat. You know how it is. You are in a long-term relationship, and the last thing you want is for the person you're in said relationship with to constantly come at you with different things to make things hostile, to make things annoying for you. You don't want to change because you think you're right, but ultimately you know you need to alter things, or the relationship you have with this individual or group of people is going to be cut off. The NCAA has heard rumors of Power 5 schools, certain schools breaking off and having their own conference, their own league. That may happen. I don't know. But what I do know is the NCAA needs to make changes, because if those rumors that I'm hearing get more traction, pick up speed, the NCAA, they might not be able to change enough rules for them to keep these schools around. Hey, rules changes are great. They're always coming. Are these necessary? Yes. Will they create more headaches for the NCAA? Stick around to find out. So during yesterday's show, I remember there was a portion of the show where I got Dijon Johnson and Bijan Robinson mixed up. And in my head during that moment, I realized, I was like, wait, I know I have a Bijan Robinson thought in the first segment. I know the rest of the show part of it is about Dijon Johnson. I'm mixing these names up, and definitely I mixed them up in the moment, looked down at my paper, came back up, and in my head, the names got jumbled up. Every now and then, your boy makes mistakes, and that's one of many I've made on the show. Just bear with me, laugh with me. I laugh at myself when I make those mistakes. We're just going to power through and try to constantly improve, just like the NCAA. So the NCAA's announcement that they're changing this targeting rule got me thinking, will this rule create more headaches for itself, or will it be able to kind of smooth things over and make things better down the road? There's two sides to this coin, like every coin. So side one, the positive side. You're constantly making improvement to get things better and to correct things. In the moment, you have the ability to go to the instant replay, and you would hope that the instant replay will get the call right. But as we have seen, that has not been called right a lot of times. And so ultimately, that play, even though there's instant replay, with it not always being correct, you can't always count on the referee to do things properly. So the NCAA says, well, look, how about we make this rule, we make this tweak, and by us doing this, it's going to buy us some more time and help us to fix this rule, ultimately keep targeting, make the game safer, and still be able to not allow players, or some players, to miss the first half of the very next game. It's a great side. Side one is perfect, because if it's a second half infraction, they have time after the fact to go back, review, assess, and then possibly rescind or take back that suspension that was handed down instantaneously when said player was eliminated from the game for targeting. Now, first half infractions, sorry, you guys don't get that opportunity, only in the second half. So that's side one. Side one, okay, yes, it's a way to help fix things. But side two is a little bit different. We see this happen all the time in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. And forgive me, guys, I'm not the biggest hockey fan. Not against it. I just don't watch enough hockey. So therefore, I don't know how their rules and their appeals processes go for different rules that happen in the National Hockey League. But we see in the NBA, NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL that when rules are talked about post-game, when the rules committee and there's a final 2-minute report, the NBA, and these things come out, and you see the NBA say, oh, he got that call wrong, he got that call wrong, he got that call wrong. NFL referees sometimes have no problem saying, yeah, in the moment I said that, but I see you looking back, I got that call wrong. I mean, there's a process, there's a thought. If after the fact, instead of in the moment, if after the fact you're able to have a clear level head, not be in the heat of the moment, not have to be somebody that is caught up in the 80,000 fans or 70,000 fans or however many fans are there in the stadium that are there yelling, hooping, howling. You have coaches on both sides. We have 53 players on both sidelines, plus all the coaches and the media. And you're not just dealing with the elements of a game and you get caught up in the moment. You sit back and realize, yeah, I messed up that targeting call. It was 3rd and 8. The player was breaking loose, and all of a sudden, bam, was a bang bang play. I called targeting. I realized it wasn't targeting, but even at the review, we didn't take away the call and go against it. We just kept the call there, and all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, that was wrong. And this is where I think the headaches are going to come, because as you know, if you are a person, which not if. As people, let's go ahead and change this. As people, we know that if in the moment we make a decision, then after the fact we realize that we're wrong, we are wrong, we have more questions and thoughts and abnormal things in our head, possibly, than we had previously, because we realized in the moment I messed up. In the moment, I realized I got to change some things. After the fact, I realized when I was in said moment, I was working off of emotion. Not just working off of sanity and keeping things proper and keeping things well. Those are just the things that are there. And so I am starting to wonder, and I think what's going to happen, let's just say a coach like Ryan Day. Let's say we have another Sean Wade incident down the road, and all of a sudden, you're not just saying it's a bowl game and the player that has the targeting call happens in the second half and that player has to miss the second half of the next game, but that player is a senior and ultimately that player does not get the chance to go back to play the football because their eligibility is up, and the next thing you know, the NCAA says, oh, we missed that call, but ultimately you making that call in the game changes momentum, and the next thing you know, the player whose team is out of the game who is out, that player's team ends up losing the game, and that's a pivotal moment in the game. The NCAA is like, yeah, we followed our process. We put this in place, and the next thing you know, we ultimately are messing things up for said player and said team because in the moment we got it wrong, but after the fact, we can review it and see. In the moment we got it wrong, we know we got it wrong because after the fact, we reviewed it. How about we get that instant replay correct in the beginning? Hello, is that a crazy idea? How about we get the instant replay correct right away? Because if you don't get it correct right away, you're going to have these same issues. You're going to have people like myself. You're going to have people all over the Locked On Podcast Network, people all over the country, fans like yourself, knowledgeable, extremely knowledgeable fans like yourself, ultimately come out and say, this ain't right. Because I get you have the human element in refereeing. I actually like that ability and aspect of the referee. I don't want the robot umpires and things like that. You may want to put a chip in a ball maybe to get the ball placed properly. That may be something that happens down the road. But ultimately, I like the human element. But sometimes I think we allow the human element in instant replay to not allow us to get better in the moment at our craft to be the best we are at whatever occupation we have for we are in. For these men and women, it's ultimately refereeing. I love the human element, but they gotta work on the instant replay. They gotta work on getting it right in the moment. They can't give themselves the out to say, "Oh well, man, it happened in the second half. Man, forget it, man. Just kick him out. He might have to miss the second half of the next game. Man, it happened in the first half. Sorry, buddy, you don't have an appeal process. You're out. You're ultimately out the next half. I just don't like it, guys. I don't like it. There's ways to make this better, make it right, than to automatically eject the player right away. Do you want to go to flagrant one, flagrant two? Possibly, but that even is going to create a gray area. And we see in the NBA with the flagrant one, flagrant two, we ultimately see the NBA goes way too often to, man, let's just review that thing. There are calls in the NBA that don't need to be reviewed, but they review them because they can. They're kind of common sense to me. The NBA has gotten soft, the NFL's gotten soft, and they review too many things, and they call things fouls and penalties that aren't infractions that people just expect to happen when you're on a basketball court or a football field. I ultimately believe the NCAA is making a step in the right direction, but at the end of the day, this is going to cause a lot of headaches for themselves in the upcoming season. Jay Wright, Villanova head coach, recently retired, and I had this thought. I don't know if you've had the thought as well, but I've been wondering, are we going to see a trend of college basketball coaches, to stick with the sport, retiring early? Jay Wright retires at the age of 60, and he has a lot of time left on this earth. He has a lot of time left here with his wife, and here to just enjoy the rest of his life, no longer coaching. He may be a part of basketball at some level, at some capacity. I would be shocked if he does not get involved, say, in a youth league, or say the high school level, or be in an advisory role to the NCAA or things like that, or maybe to Villanova or the Big East or something along those lines, to where he is still a part of basketball, but it's not the day-to-day grind of being a college basketball coach. Jay Wright, some of his accomplishments as we talk about him retiring, let's look at some of the things that he has done. Two-time national champion in 2016 and 2018. Four-time, he's been to 4 Final Fours. Two-time America East regular season champion. Two-time America East tournament champion. 8-time Big East regular season champion. 5-time Big East tournament champion, coach of the year 2 times, NABC coach of the year in 2006, John R. Wooden Legends of Coaching Award in 2018, 6-time Big East coach of the year, 2-time America East coach of the year, AP coach of the decades in the 2010s, and he was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 2021. Oh yeah, there's a gold medal that he won as an assistant coach of Team USA in the 2020 Tokyo Games. Those are just a few things that he's accomplished. But as you know, with the coach, there's so many more things when it comes to the relationship that you build over a 20-21+ year career. There are wins, losses, there are highs, lows. There's so many things that go through your mind. And I think about Jay Wright, and I know just in my own backyard, Greg Oden and Mike Conley's high school basketball coach recently retired at the age of 78. Think about high school basketball. It's a different animal than college, but it's still a year-round grind, unlike it was even in 2000 when Jay Wright started coaching. I don't think it's going to be a trend where you're going to see a lot of guys every year, 59, 60, 61, 62, start to retire, even if they don't have these accolades and these accomplishments that Jay Wright has. I still don't think it'll be an ultimate trend, but I feel where it's going to be an overwhelming majority. Let's put it that way, overwhelming majority that go that route. But I do think, though, a coach like Chris Holtmann, even if you go to the football, coach like Ryan Day, even a coach like, Urban Meyer has stepped away numerous times. A lot of times it's due to health, but he has stepped away. Will Urban Meyer come back? I don't know. But ultimately, you look at a Jay Wright, you look at an Urban Meyer, it might be best for Urban Meyer to take a Jay Wright route and to just stay away, even though there are people that look at Urban Meyer and say he's done X, Y, and Z, he should never coach again. He might get an opportunity. But sometimes you got to realize that 60 years old, 61 years old, 62 years old, you've done a lot of things in your career, a lot of accomplishments, national championships. Hall of Fame. You may be inducted into Hall of Fame or Hall of Fames. It's great. But as we're finding out with this generation, or my generation, and other people that are there, it might just be fine for you and for other people to go ahead and take a back seat and just relax a little bit. Don't get caught up in the hoopla, and don't get caught up in the different things that make us stay in a profession or stay in a field for a really long time. Just relax. Just realize that you're going to be fine stepping away sooner than you thought, because life's enjoyable. Yes, there are people out there that coach, that are individuals that want to do it for life. Yeah, at times I might thought, yeah, I might retire at 60 or 65. You get to 65, you're like, man, I got a lot left in me. You keep going. But then there are sometimes your wife gets to you and she says, don't you want to relax for the last 10, 15, 20 years of your life? Don't you want to just spend some time with me? Don't you want to spend some time with our kids? Yes, there are coaches like Leonard Hamilton, the coaches like Jim Larinaga, coaches like Jim Boeheim, numerous. Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski just retired at 74. There are coaches that are going to coach to the 70, 75, 76, 77. Larry Brown continues to coach. Last time I saw Larry Brown, he was an assistant coach for the Memphis Tigers. And I'm like, Larry Brown, are you sure you're like, I'm like, bro, like, I understand you're an NBA lifer, but bro, at some point, don't you think you want to back away? Larry Brown's 81 years old. What do you think you're going to be doing at 81? Coaching? Will you still be in the field you're in right now? Probably not. No, probably not. My grandma at 81 was living at home. She was retired. I mean, she was just living with my cousin Tasha, because my dad and his other siblings didn't want grandma living by herself. So my cousin Tasha moved in with grandma. Grandma wasn't doing the things like a Larry Brown or a Coach K might be doing at 81, or Jim Larinaga, Leonard Hamilton, Jim Boeheim. Well, grandma wasn't doing those things. She was not. She was enjoying life, but not enjoying life like that. I think for a coach like Chris Holtmann, who coached against Jay Wright, who has a connection with Jay Wright, who can talk to Jay Wright, has learned different lessons from Jay Wright, there might be a conversation between Chris Holtmann and his wife saying, at what point do you think I should step away? Maybe they have that conversation now. Maybe it doesn't happen for 15, 16, 17 years down the road. But at some point, as we have realized, and especially with myself and even conversation with my dad, I've realized things, and then conversations with my dad, who just retired, my mom just retired, they're saying at some point, you just got to hang it up. Relax a little bit. Enjoy life. And as we have seen with this current climate in college basketball and college sports, this is a more 24/7, 365 grind than it ever has been before. The recruits decommitting. You have to kind of babysit or have somebody babysitting the recruits and talking to them and making sure they're engaged. And ultimately, you have to be a person that is that way. Now, granted, basketball, not like football because of the number of players on the team, but still, it is still a huge grind. You add in the transfer portal, you add in NIL, all these things that Jay Wright wants to deal with every single day of the year for the next 5, 10, maybe 15 years. Maybe he only coaches for another 8 years. But are these things that he wants to deal with for a long period of time? I ultimately don't know. But what I do know, talk to his family, talk to his wife, talk to those close to him to make sure he didn't make a wild or crazy decision right now. He made the proper decision for him and his family, and he has no regrets once the decision is made. For Coach Jay Wright, thank you. It's been enjoyable to watch you coach the basketball for the time period that you have. 2016, 2018 national championships. Well, for one of them, congratulations. I still am hurting because of the shot Chris Jenkins hit at the buzzer to beat North Carolina in the national championship game. But other than that, congratulations. Even on that, though, facetiously, sarcastically, with that little statement. Congratulations. There aren't many coaches out there that stick around at one spot like Jay Wright, that build up a program like Jay Wright. People knock Mark Few for not having a national championship. Let's think about the success he has had at a program like Gonzaga, that when he got there was not known for anything like it is right now. Getting top recruits, getting to the tournament for however many years it has been in a row, getting to Final Fours, national championship games. You got to congratulate these coaches that go to one spot, stick there for a while, and do phenomenal things. It's Friday. It's a feel-good Friday. Got the feel-good Friday hat back. The draft is next week. When I try to have some guests on next week to kind of enhance how we can enjoy the NFL draft. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. Now make your second listen of the day, the Locked On NFL Draft podcast. Host Ryan Tracy and former NFL defensive back Eric Crocker bring the NFL draft to life every day with insight and analysis on college football prospects and NFL front offices. The Locked On Draft podcast, just like the Locked On Buckeyes podcast, they are both free and available wherever you get your fine podcast.